Ear candies are amazing and I just love them. A lot of people ask me for more videos about ear candies, so here we go. In today's video, we're gonna talk about 6 additional ear candies that you can add to your songs. And if you haven't watched the first video, wait till the end of this one so you can learn even more about ear candies. But before we begin, let me know over here in the comments, do you prefer ear candies with melodic elements or with vocal elements? Let us know over here in the comments. But let's get down to the business and let's get started with this tutorial. Let's go. Adding a simple vocal phrase can create a really cool vocal ambience to the song and makes the song a little bit more interesting. Listen, for example, to what NORA En PURE did with her track called Come With Me. It's a simple vocal phrase, and that's something that you can do by recording your own voice with your microphone and applying some effects to cover it a little bit more. That's something that Fred again did in his song called Delilah. Essentially, he ripped the song called Pull Me Out of This from Delilah Montaigu and applied some effects, and you can see him doing this in the video below.
Pull me out of this place. Pull me out of this. Pull me out of this.
It seems like this is working pretty well for him, doesn't it? Or you can go into a little bit more washed out approach as what I've done in the song called Looking at Me. As you can see over here in Ableton, essentially for this song, I have a vocal phrase and also a shout. And for you to get a similar idea like this one, what you have to do over here, as you can see it in Ableton. First, you have to pick a sample and put it in the right key of the song, like what I've done over here.
We were following the writing on the wall.
Then you chop the parts that you like from it and apply a little bit of form and shifting to make it a little bit more interesting. And also then you apply a lot of reverbs and delays. And voila, now you have a vocal ambience in your song. Or what you can also do is something that Ben Bomer did in his track called Cappadocia that you can listen to over here. It's a lot of random phrases that I don't understand a thing, but it sounds amazing because it creates that vocal ear candy to the song, and that's what this is all about. So be creative. Pick your phone or your microphone and start recording some vocals so then you can apply some vocal ear candies to your song as well. But there are other ways that you can do ear candies with vocals, and that is with monologues. Adding a monologue to your song is just really cool because it adds a lot of character to the song. For example, listen to the song called Overtones by Frost and listen how the monologue is just so amazing over there.
You know, like I've done big shows, I've done small shows, I've traveled so much.
That is literally what Jody Wisternoff and James Grant loved about this song, and you can also see in another Anjuna Deep song from Marsh and Knox Vaughn called Come Together.
I want you to listen to the sound of my voice just as if it were noise.
Monologues are really cool because they're essentially vocals but without lyrics, and you can add anything in there and it just works. For example, you can add your wife or your mom complaining that you're making too much noise in your song and just add it over there. Or you can pick audios from messages with your friends and just add it in the song as well, which is what Ferragan also did in his song called Delilah, and you can listen to over here.
But when I just got here, I was just a bit like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Pull me out of.
And they're really nice because again, they bring words to the song, they bring that human touch to the song, and it's a really nice ear candy to do. Again, you just have to pick your phone, start saying something, and add these to your song with a lot of reverb and delay to add a little bit of character to the song. Now let's go to some more melodic ear candies with call and response. Call and response leads are really nice because essentially you're adding a lead to where the song would be a bit too empty, and you're just adding a call and response vibe to this. Essentially, you have the main lead of your song, which is doing the call, but it goes to a part where it's a bit empty, and you're adding an additional lead to make the response and make that balance a bit better. The best example for this is a song called Santorini by Spencer Brown. In there, you can listen in the drop one where we don't have the response lead, and listen how the rest of the lead sounds a bit empty when the lead ends. You can listen that there's a lot of reverbs after the lead ends, but not much and not so interesting. But listen to the drop too and listen how much better this sounds when he adds a response lead over there. This ba-ba-bung just makes the song a lot better, and I love this part in the song as well. But there are other ways that you can do call and responses in your song. For example, in the song called New Day by Jordan Post, he does the call and response with the bass line, and you can listen to over here. Listen how he has the lower bass notes, but he also has bass notes in higher octaves, and these work as the response to these lower notes. Watch it over here in Ableton, and watch it while you can also see the MIDI of these responses. This is a really cool way to do call and response, but there are other ways that you can do call and response as well, like in the song called In Memoriam by Ben Bomer. You can listen that because the piano notes of the lead are so long and become a bit empty when they're so long, he's adding a lot of additional elements and also a vocal to fill the gaps, and that's what the call and response is all about. When the notes of your lead leaves a gap in your song, you're gonna add an additional element over there, making the call and response game in the song. But now let's move to our next point, which is adding arpeggios, and that's one of my favorite ear candies of all time. One thing that I love adding to my songs are arps because they add a lot of background noise to your songs, and also they are really useful for transitions. Listen, for example, to the song called Banya by Sultan Shepard. The arp is not the main element in there, but it adds a lot of energy to the song, and you can listen to without it and how empty it sounds without that arp. Much better with the arp, right? Arps are really nice and I love adding them to my song. But one thing that I love the most about arps is how they can help you with transitions, as you can listen over here in the song called Bunny again. In a part of your song that would be otherwise a bit empty and without any life, you add an arp over there, and that adds a really nice continuity effect from your drop. So essentially, in a part that is a bit too empty, now the arp kind of gives a little bit of life to it. So definitely recommend adding arps to your song, especially to add a little bit of background energy, but also don't feel afraid to use them in your transitions to make them a little bit smoother as well. Now let's go to adding reverses, which is also a really cool thing to do. Another really cool ear candy that I love using in my songs are reverse vocals and reverse synths. Essentially, these enhance the transitions of your songs, and I use them quite a lot in my songs. Listen, for example, to the song called Europa that you can listen to over here. Can you hear the These are really nice and they work just as noise sweeps, but they're done with vocals, and that makes it a bit more human, which makes it a bit more interesting as well. Listen over here in Ableton how I'm essentially just placing the reverse vocal with a lot of reverb and delay, so they have a little bit of a tail as well. But Leo, where can I find these? Well, the pack that I love the most for using these reverses is the Vila pack called Siren by Black Octopus. It's not only amazing for these kinds of sounds that they have in the pack, but they also have some really cool ambiences and some really cool phrases that you can use to create some vocal ambiences in your song. But now let's go to another category, which are kick fills, and I love adding them because they add a lot of groove to your song. Kick fills are essentially used to break off the 4 to the floor pattern of your kick. And I love using these because in addition to breaking off the pattern, it also adds a lot of groove to the song. Listen, for example, to the song called Looking at Me, which is my song with Cosmax, and listen how we did these kick fills over there. Check over here in Ableton now. As you can see, in addition to the on-beat kicks, we also have some kicks that are off-beat a little bit, and these help a lot because they add a lot of groove to the song, as you can listen to again. But there's one important thing to mention about kick fills. Because kicks carry a lot of low end and we're adding kicks to where otherwise there would be a lot of bass, we have to be a little bit careful with that. And that's why if you see it over here in Ableton, I'm making them a little bit smaller. This way I'm getting rid of the bass over here because I'm not sidechaining my bass to these kicks over here, I'm only sidechaining the kicks to these kicks over here, which are on beat. This way, I avoid any collision from the offbeat kicks with my bass, which definitely would be on one end and could create some problems when mastering your songs. But again, I love adding them because they add a lot of groove to the song and they're really nice, and I invite you to try them out as well. Now answer me this: which of these ear candies did you like the most? If you want to know more about ear candies, you can watch our first video that we posted over here, or if you want to know about ear candies for drums, you can watch this video that we posted over here as well. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you see you in the next Abstrakt video next week. Ciao!